Right, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Today we are going to talk about vision and how important it is to have a vision in a business and how important it is to share that vision with the people that work around you. Jay, you own a business, you have a vision. Tell me more.
I'm here today to tell every business owner that your why is much more important than your goals. And if you want to know more about that, stay with us throughout the show.
3, 2, 1.
My whole purpose for this call is to give business owners like yourself, like myself, insight into the success, the failures, the day-to-day struggles, and the real-life examples of how I've won and lost over the last 12 years of growing my own businesses. It's my hope that you'll engage and ask real questions of myself and my team so that you can avoid the pitfalls, the roadblocks, and the struggles that I've overcome. I want to share with you what I'm doing in my businesses, plus the businesses that I help run across this country. I want to give you the insight that I've learned coaching clients in medical, real estate, accounting, and other professional services, and how we've helped them live the life of a visionary entrepreneur, scale their organizations, and leave a lasting legacy on this world.
So you gotta explain that one because you hit me with that this morning. The why is more important than the goals. Rewind the clock. Tell me what that means.
Yeah, so I was at personal training today, my health coach, and he just looked and he just said the why you're here is more important than the goals that we hit or don't hit, the measurements that we take. And it was this refocus, right? When you have great coaches or mentors in your life, you have these moments, these nuggets where something kind of pops you back into alignment. And I think it was just one of those moments today.
Would you also agree, like when you get popped back into alignment, like you said, when you have a good mentor or a good coach that does that for you, how much easier is it to get back into alignment when you know where you're going though?
Oh, so much easier, right? I always use the analogy, if you wake up in the morning, right, put your clothes on, you get in your car, imagine not knowing where you were going. You would sit in your driveway with the keys in the ignition and not know where you're going. Until somebody called you, a kid called you, work called you, and you were like, oh shit, I need to go to X place. Yeah. Right? So imagine how business owners who might have direction when they start their new business, when they become an entrepreneur, they have a direction. I hate my current boss. I can do it better. I have this product, this widget, or this service that would change the world, and they know that they need to go start a business. And they go, they file, they get a business, and then the day-to-day sets in. Then the work sets in. And here you go, a year in, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years in, and now you just have a high-paying job.
I don't know if I've ever heard you describe that. Like, I don't know if I've ever heard you say you get lost in the day-to-day. How have you kept your head above the clouds? We talked about smoke in a prior episode. If you haven't seen that episode about finding the smoke and what's causing it in your business, go back to that YouTube video. But how have you kept your head above that smoke so it hasn't become this monotonous job?
Yeah, I think you have to go back to your purpose. I know you have to go back to your purpose. And as an entrepreneur, there was a moment, there was a point of inflection where you went from being an employee to an entrepreneur. And at that moment, you had purpose. And chances are you lost that purpose along the way. And so you need to go back down. You need to write it down. I think you have some great statistics coming up at your leadership summit about if you write down goals. Well, just replace the word goals with purpose.
Sure.
Do you think every day about your purpose? Do you plan on your purpose? Do you hold and talk and share with your team, your family, your friends, your inner circle, what your purpose is, what your why is? Or are you just reporting we made money or didn't make money? Our bank account's high or our bank account's low, right? And so go back to the bigger picture. For me, it's super easy. We have it written on the wall. We have it in a software called 90.io, part of the Entrepreneur Operating System, changed my life. I talk about it with you every day. Every single day we talk about not just how we're doing, not the measurement of what we're doing, but what our purpose is in this action, this business, or in life itself.
Yeah, it's nice with that software because, right, it is written down, which is great. That makes you 42% more likely. But you guys talk about it often. which increases that number all the way up to 76% more likely to achieve your goals or realize what your purpose is when it's written down and shared. And the beautiful part of that software is you guys get together once a week, you meet for 90 minutes, and that is a topic of discussion. Are the things we're discussing right now leading us and guiding us towards our goals? It's written on the whiteboards in your room. We talk about it every single day, and I think that, I really like the road analogy, and something that comes to mind for me is if you're on the freeway, right, when you get kicked back into alignment, we have rumble strips, right? There's two yellow, you keep it between the mayo and the mustard, the white and the yellow, right? But when you get out of whack a little, you hit that rumble strip and you know it's time to come back over. And some business owners don't have that rumble strip set up. They don't have a coach. They don't have people in their life that help readjust them or realign them. And the same is true for that road analogy that you shared.
Yeah, and it's not, we have a lot of team members, staff members that watch this, and the principles apply to you as a team member, a staff member, a family member, a child, a parent. The principle applies across the board. So take it in and understand how it will impact your life, not even if you're not a business owner. My why for this call is to help business owners and entrepreneurs like you think, act, and achieve the goals, the purpose, and the legacy that you want out of your business or your endeavor. Right? Now that right there is more powerful than to help you make money.
So true. When we were talking about this topic, Jared, yesterday, we began the discussion yesterday, and then today we really dove in onto how can we help business owners realign and refocus. And I wrote this down. I felt like this was very powerful. If you don't know where you're going, you can't figure out how to get there. If you can't figure out how to get there, that means you can't help others find their way as well. And what I mean by that is if you don't know your destination, for instance, Jared has his vision for his company, like we talked about, written down, it's shared with everybody, it's spoken about all the time. If you don't have that destination, you can't start trying to figure out how to get there. The same is true for the car analogy. If you're sitting in your vehicle and you have no destination, there's no plan on how to figure out how to get there. But if you know you're trying to get to grandma's house and you know there's construction on the highway, but there's another road, you can start detailing out which way should I get to my destination. And now that you know how to get to grandma's house because there's construction on the interstate and you have to take these other two roads, you can also call your brother and sister and give them instructions on how to get to grandma's house. And the same is true for business.
Well, I think the same is true for business. The same is true for parenting. The same is true for life in general. I think as human beings, our greatest opportunity, our greatest fulfillment is in helping other people, right? Me helping my clients become better business owners, better entrepreneurs, leave a greater legacy on this life. You helping and coaching business owners and team members to become the best version of themselves. That is leadership. That is creation. That is fulfillment.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And for me, it's a part of the topic, you know this, August 11th and 12th in St. George, Utah. If you're a leader in your business, you have leaders in your business, mid-level managers, we're going to spend 2 days talking about these topics where if you know the destination, right, I want to make crystal clear, and before we get off this call or you're watching this video on YouTube, I want Jared to make again the point that the single most important impact you can make on your business today is to get out a blank piece of paper, write down your vision, and then starting to describe how you're going to get there from today. But on August 11th and 12th, if you can send your people to St. George, Utah, or bring yourself to St. George, Utah, these are the topics that we're going to talk about, the culture and the operations within the business, so we can strategically start to plan out, just like the maps on a road, how to get to that destination.
I love it. And it makes me think, even yesterday, we played some golf yesterday here in southern Utah out in Trotta Country Club. And I would just imagine you teeing off on hole number 10, but not knowing where hole number 10 went, not knowing where the hole was, and having no vision of what to do. Like, would you ever be able to tee off?
And then fear sets in, right? And how many times am I going to do that, right? How much fun does that take out of the game when I don't know where we're going? How am I supposed to know if we're winning or losing? I'm winning, you're winning. Takes all the fun out of it, right? I think this is also true on the statistic that is staggering is the amount of people that give up on their New Year's resolutions, right? So those of you that are watching that don't own a business, the question is the same. What is your passion in life? What is your purpose in life? What goals do you have for yourself as a person that maybe you set at the beginning of the year, but now we're 6 months into the year and you've given up?
Well, I think that greatest statement is, right, if you operate by goals, so New Year's resolutions are often set as a goal. I want to lose X number of pounds, or I want to call my family X number of times. Look, life is not about perfection. Life is about progress, and I think that's very important, especially as an entrepreneur, to know. Because if you knew everything you needed to know about business, you wouldn't be on this journey, right? You wouldn't be looking to somebody like me that has grown and scaled businesses, has gotten to double-digit millions, has shown a proven path and documented it along the way. You wouldn't be asking me for help or being on this call. For you, Morgan, I would just say New Year's resolutions are about that goal. And the minute you miss a goal, you then think about an untruth. You immediately begin doubting yourself, you immediately begin justifying, and you immediately begin altering the narrative in your head.
Yeah,
But what if you said, why did I do that New Year's resolution? There was a greater purpose behind that New Year's resolution than the specific goal itself.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. If you can get back down to the root, dig down deep inside of yourself and ask yourself, why did I buy a gym pass? Why did I set these goals? Why did I say I was going to pay my student loans off this year and I haven't yet? What were you trying to fulfill? What was the gap? What was the hole? And the same is true for you entrepreneurs. You saw an opportunity in business, a gap, and you took that. And there was a why behind that, and there was a passion behind that. But somewhere along the way, you stopped talking about why you made that decision and why you wanted to feel more confidence because of the gym, or you wanted to feel more financial freedom by paying off your debts. There was a why behind your business starting and what you were doing. And somewhere along the way, you stopped sharing that why with yourself. And then, of course, you stop sharing that why with the people that are around you.
So we touched on this in the fear of failure video. So if you're on the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend you subscribe. If you want to go back and watch the fear of failure video, it's amazing. But that fear of failure one mentioned that what holds us back is that paralysis, right? And failing. But what if you buy a gym membership, you commit to going 3 times a week, but you only go 2? Are you better off now functioning and going for a purpose of living a healthier lifestyle, or are you a failure because you only did 2 out of 3 days?
Right. And how important is your outlook on, we talk about all the time, you have to zoom out, right? And the only way that you can zoom out in life and see, have I made progress towards my overall goal? If your true goal within yourself was to feel more confidence, are you more confident 6 months into the year than you were at the beginning of the year? If your goal deep down was to feel more financial freedom, do you feel more financial freedom now more than today? If you started a business with that why, and you can zoom out and say, yes, I have made progress towards my overall goal, this original passion that I have made progress, you can't beat yourself up.
Definitely not. And look, the title of this series is Think Big. And so I really want everybody to zoom out and tell me what is that either 10-year goal, so that we're zooming out and thinking big, or what is your purpose for your entrepreneurship, your business, or your role in a company? What is the why?
Yeah, I would love to see some chats if you're watching this on YouTube, I would love if you're brave enough to leave a comment in the comment section of what your goals are this year, 3 years from now, as big as you can possibly think. I would love to see some comments underneath the YouTube video on what your goals are.
Let's dive in really quick, Morgan, to my audiology clinics. So one of my core businesses is owning and operating audiology clinics. And in our vision traction organizer, shared with the team, shared with every new interview candidate. I think you do that, right?
Correct. On every interview that I do, they will see the VTO, the core values, the vision of the company, the plan on how we're going to get there within the first and second interview.
Gotcha. So everybody that you interview, whether they have a job in my clinics or not, they know where I'm going, what the destination is, what our purpose is.
Yeah, right? So let's use the car analogy because it's fun, right? You climb into someone's car and they say they're driving to New York City and we're in Utah. You have 2 choices. You either go along that ride because it sounds fun and exciting and the journey will be worth it, or you say you're out of your damn mind, I'd rather go to California. Right? And so if I don't tell those people immediately from the first moment I meet them, as I get to know more about them as a human first, before their work history and their resume and any of that nonsense that everybody loves to interview people about, I have to also share what we're about and who we are. And I have to share with them, this is the direction we're headed in life, and here's what this journey looks like if you're going to come along with us. So they can be the one that decides they're out of their damn mind, or this sounds like fun and I want to be a part of that journey.
I love it. So as a team member, right, not an entrepreneur, what has been the greatest takeaway for you, whether it's asking questions, knowing the vision, like you've seen good, bad, and ugly in my businesses, what's the big takeaway for a team member and an owner that you would give them?
So for a team member, I think the biggest takeaway on a team member is you have to realize that even when your business owner has a vision for their company, you have to become very, very good at asking the right questions so that you can understand that vision. The vision was not your vision. So to join a company and for you to expect, oh, I get it, that's an untruth, right? You shouldn't just walk into a company and say, okay, Jared wants 19 audiology clinics across the country. I get that. I know what that looks like. I know what it means to start clinics. You don't. And chances are, because he doesn't have 19 locations yet, he doesn't have all the answers yet. So you're not a disobedient, you're not an unloyal, you're not a drainer by asking questions on the vision. You should be asking and probing questions on what does it look like to get there? How will we know if we're on track or off track? Tell me more about this vision. How did you know that you wanted 19 locations? What does it do for us to have 19 locations? All of those questions about the VTO make you a better employee and make your leadership team stronger.
So Morgan, on you and me specifically, like what is your purpose? Because your purpose isn't 19 clinics. What is Morgan's purpose in Morgan's role around Jared?
Definitely. So for me as a coach and the people that are within the clinics that I'm still directly coaching is to build as many followers as I can. I believe from the time I can look back as far as I possibly can, I have been obsessed with leadership. I love being a leader. I love molding people. I love watching the changes they make. I love watching the ripple effect of when one person becomes a better human being, the other humans in their life become better. And I get to do that. Every person he hires, I get to do that for. Every coaching client we sign that has 3 to 10 employees, I get to do that for. So my passion truly is with the people, and the people that are coming into St. George in August. My goal is to make you a better person. And the only way I can make you a better person, personally for you, professionally and financially in your own life, is to get to know you. And that's the first step I take in any journey, whether you're a client, you're an employee with me, is I have to understand you so I can understand what your passion is and what you want out of this life, and then help you get that.
I was really hoping that you weren't going to be selfish on that when you would tell me that it was about me.
No.
But you went down your selfish route, and I don't use selfish in a negative light there, right? Like the fact that Morgan can fulfill himself and his purpose inside of my organization and my purpose is the ultimate collaboration. Yeah. He's fulfilled, I'm fulfilled, and we're all marching together towards this destination 10 years from now. Right? And so, I can't wait for people to come to Leadership Summit and start understanding how this is both of us following our own purpose and getting what we want out of that working together.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that, because the first question was what's the takeaway for employees? And I hope you understand that if you're an employee watching this phone call, my suggestion to you is dive in on that VTO. Try to fully understand the vision of the business owner and ask good questions. As a business owner, I'm so glad that you use that word, because an unhealthy business owner, if you haven't watched that YouTube video, pause this one, go watch Unhealthy Business Owners, because that one's a ton of fun. I really loved that one. Unhealthy business owners would look at that and say, is Morgan a good fit for my company? Because everything he just said was about him. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have anything to do with me getting to 19 locations. Him wanting to coach people and bless people with leadership in his life has nothing to do with me getting 19 locations. That's what an unhealthy business owner would say. But my advice to you business owners when it comes to this vision is find a way, right? There's a reason that on my first interview and second interview, I'm showing these people the vision of the company and our plan to get there. And it's because I want to do what Jared just did. Here's where we're going in life. Try to explain to me where you would like to go in life. And the closer I can bring those two, the more aligned and the more parallel those two things can be, the stronger the business will be, and the stronger your employees' motivation to help the business will be. So your job as a business owner is to share that vision in a way that aligns with their personal, professional, and financial goals, so you can both row in the same direction.
Yeah, and I think that idea, right? We talked about collaboration, we talked about alignment, we've talked about this ecosystem and how we can both achieve what we want. We both have different purposes,
Yeah.
and the company has its own purpose, and together we are able to all be fulfilled in that mission.
Yeah,
and if you're not thinking that way as a team member or as an owner, you're holding yourself back from that entrepreneurial quest. You're holding yourself back from that personal legacy, that business legacy. That is where you have room for improvement.
Yeah. All I was going to say is there's no shortage of success on this planet. And if you can teach your employees how to get more success, everybody wins in the long run. But if you're holding your people back from success and saying, Morgan, that doesn't make sense for me and my business and what I'm trying to do, you're holding me back from success, which is going to hold Jared back from success.
So I want to dive real quick on, is this an intentional thing by the visionary entrepreneur or business owner, or is it happening through fires and day-to-day emails and time management? Like, do you think there's these bad owners out there, or is it just a distraction from that greater purpose, that greater 10-year vision?
Definitely a distraction. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's definitely bad business owners, and those people, they become a part of the statistic of out of business in the first 3 years or whatever the small business statistic is. For the ones that are good, which is the vast majority, I believe, of business owners that are good, it is baggage, right? And we talk about that all the time. It's the baggage that comes from an email inbox that's way too full, employees that have quit you in the past, employees that have stole from you. We've had those experiences with clients that have had employees that steal. It's the baggage. It's the baggage that drains you if you allow it to, that drains you from your passion and your vision that you originally had with your company. And it will distract you if you don't focus.
And the one thing I want to leave each and every one of you with is, chances are you're watching this call because you're looking for one nugget, one piece of advice to help you achieve everything you wanted when you first became an entrepreneur. You had a vision. And what I'm telling you here today is, if you can share with me your purpose, if you can share with your team your purpose, if you can share the think big 10-year goal of what you're trying to achieve, I can share with you through coaching, through this call, through interactions with my companies. I can share with you the blueprint, the step-by-step instructions, the failures that I had and the things that will hold you back, and how to have success. So the number one next step you can do is reach out to Morgan@audexperts.com, ask your question, state your purpose, and we will show you how to get there.